from High Point Solutions Stadium. It's the fourth and final game this Saturday, and the Central Group 3 Championship is on the line. As the defending champs looking for 5 straight sectional titles, the 10-1 Rumson-Fair Haven Bulldogs will take on the 10-1 Somerville Pioneers. Hi again, everybody. Dan Savarino, thanks so much for joining us this Saturday evening. And boy, have we been treated to 3 phenomenal football games and make it 4 upcoming. Somerville, coached by Jeff Vanderbeek, 3rd year at the helm, 2nd year as the sole head coach. They will receive white uniforms, tops and bottoms. Jerry Schulte and his Fairhaven Bulldogs from right to left in the purples. Fresh 12 on the clock. Colin Coles boots it away. We are underway. Thank you so much for joining us. Fiorentino, the lead back with the kick return, just shy of the 40-yard line. Somerville will start with Ryan Kovacs, a senior quarterback who is his first year as the full-time starter. They do run with 2 QBs at points. You will see Jalan Dabney, more of a running QB, but Kovacs is the main guy at this point. From their own 38, Somerville will begin. And what a story for the Ville it has been. This team had a 25-game losing streak, now championship contenders. As the first play from scrimmage is up to the 40-yard line, Fiorentino with the carry. Let's take a look at the starters. Burkhardy, DeSarno, Booker, Lauber, and Sandler are the front 5. In the skill positions, Duke McDuffie, Kyrie Hinton, Hillman, Ciampola, and then Fiorentino and Burnside. You'll also see Dabney, as we mentioned before. Pass over to Hinton, and inbounds, and great pursuit by this defense of Rumson-Fair Haven. That is their strength, their bread and butter. 13 points per game allowed per contest. The D-line of McGirl, Sullivan, of Fleeto, and McAllister. The linebackers, Lanzalato, Forsyth, Woods. In the secondary, Feinberg, Donahue, Ninger, and Sloan. 3rd down and 10 from the 38. Kovacs moves right, floats it up, into coverage. It's pulled in! Ciampola inside of the 15. My goodness! How did he grab that? Boy, Kovacs didn't have a ton on the bomb, throwing against a very tough defense. And talk about threading the needle. Ciampola reeling it in and grabbing another 7 or 8 yards. So a 3rd down conversion successful for the Pioneers. Ciampola, 16 receptions, 355 yards receiving, as Kovacs has thrown for more than 1,100 and completed 66% of his passes. Here on 2nd down and 16, they'll look to Fiorentino. And he will pick up just 1 yard for a 3rd and long upcoming. Take a look at the defense we just mentioned before. Rumson-Fair Haven, their strength is the defense. They have not given up more than 30 points in a game very often, just once in their last 43, a streak that ended this year, and their only loss to St. John Vianney. Across the flats and pulled in by Hinton. Hinton runs right up the middle of the field to the 10-yard line. So a 4th down upcoming. Bobby Wortman, who is their kicker, has not attempted a field goal this season. So 4th down and 6 from the 10. And with this field position, why not go for it? So how about this start? 4th and 6 from the 10. Kovacs flips it outside. Fiorentino wrapped up in the backfield. Elijah McAllister. Turnover on downs, but there was a flag on the play.
There is a blocker down.
They will pick up that flag. And the Bulldogs will have the football at the 15. So a good drive, however, a turnover, but in a good portion of the field to turn over the football. As Dan Harvey will come out at quarterback. 1,060 yards on the season, just under 60% completion, 9 touchdowns, 3 INTs. A guy who really controls the game for this offense that is so run heavy and seems to always have been. First and 10. 2-back set. And the first handoff will be right up the gut and churning those legs up to the 21-yard line. Malgin is the one to it. Let's take a look at the starters. The offensive line of Waters, Johnson, McCann, Kelleher, and Avino. 2 returning starters in Johnson and Kelleher. Malgin and Lucas are the backs, with O'Connor, who is really a tight end, but their lead receiver. You also see Martino at points, McAfee, Velkamp. Martino is the one on the far side. 3 backs here. O'Connor motions left as they'll stack the box. Another handoff. This time, great pursuit on the end. Peter Lucas with his first touch. The defense for the Ville. Smith, Pidgeon, and Akil are the 3 guys up front, with the linebackers outside of Lauber, along with Ciampola and Herbinski. Dabney, Smith, Burnside, McDuffie, Hinton all in the secondary for a defense that has been pretty stout this season and forced turnovers, especially their last game, 3 INTs. They're down at 7. From the 18, Harvey, misplay, and a sack. Ciampola with his 2nd sack of the season, and it's just a misplay, but a 3 and out, and a punt. It will be taken from the 45 as McDuffie breaks a tackle, spins up ahead to the 41. So 2nd series for Somerville after a pretty solid one, despite it being a turnover on downs. They'll take it from the Rumson 42. This group, a win over Monmouth, 33-24. They led in the 3rd quarter, surrendered a kick return touchdown, the opening play, and then 21 unanswered. As Dabney will take the snap and then run. And he is the other quarterback for this group, who himself, now 900 yards on the ground, has thrown for another 547 with 10 touchdowns, 2 picks. 27 total touchdowns on the season. As Dabney works himself, jukes to the right, gets the first down. Delon Dabney. And there are points where Kovacs will stay on the field at QB, but this 2-quarterback system this year has really worked and come along as of late. 100-yard rushing games for Dabney in his last 4. He looks to throw as Ciampola catches at the right seams and muscles his way to the 14. He got about 6 yards of yak just from the strength of the 5'11", 195 junior. 2 first downs on this drive. Dabney throws again. This time it's caught by Fiorentino. He'll run down the near sideline and be inside of the 10. Somerville, quick offense. They like to hurry this up as much as they can. And what a story this really has been for this program. 25-game losing streak after 2 0-10 seasons. Over a 3-year period, just 2-28. Jeff Vanderbeek comes in. Dabney flips it over to McDuffie. McDuffie churning the legs inside of the 1. So first and goal. But he comes in his first year under scrutiny, former owner of the New Jersey Devils. And there are plenty of articles about it. Helped build the Prudential Center, sold the team, loves football. Started coaching this team, semifinals last year, finals this year, and Dabney has the first 6 points in the finals. A 1-yard rushing TD. Somerville's on the board first. Three first downs on this drive. That goes 42 yards. And they'll line up for the 2. Oh, we just saw a 2-point conversion win a game. Dabney throws, end zone, Bertino, successful, 8-0. .5:12 remaining in the first. Great energy in the building, especially on this near sideline, as the fans from Somerville, as they call themselves just the Ville, in all orange and black, a storied program. First finals appearance since the year 2000. More sectional titles than any school in Somerset County. 7-time champions. They have not won since 1994. Winners in 77, 78, 79. They won 3 times in the 80s before their 7th crown and last one. But there was a big change in culture, and Jeff Vanderbeek came in after owning an NHL franchise for 9 years. You take over a program just because he loved this community, grew up in this town since he was 12 years old, until he was 12, and then he moved. Went to the finals when he was a kid. Bridgewater East. But has loved coaching and has loved this game. Playing with the lead. And a rare time, Rumson-Fair Haven is trailing in a sectional final. Fair catch to the 25. Rumson-Fair Haven, ground and pound football. When you ask Jerry Schulte about just development of good running backs over the years, because they have had a lot of good ones over the last few years. Something he said, hey, listen, you know, we started from the late 90s. Nobody's going both ways. It helps you learn that one position over time. As Peter Lucas, who is a future high point lacrosse player, grabs 1 yard. When he was backing up Matt Vaccarelli, Vic was a phenomenal 2-year starter in purple. But it helps. When you have to only go one way, you're learning just that one position. You don't have to worry about anything else. And they have come up with a good running back here and there. Very coy when asked about. As Harvey pump fakes, throws as he gets hit. O'Connor reels it into the 35 and picks up the first down. Well, they have been getting into the backfields. That's because O'Connor was also wide open. Great pump fake. Waiting and very patient in the pocket was Harvey. And O'Connor, who leads this team in receptions with 30. 4 touchdowns as well. Had a TD catch in the semifinals against Wall, which got them here. Lucas on a screen. Spins around 2, works up the left seams, just to the left of it. Grabs a yard. Rumson-Fair Haven, they have won 17 consecutive playoff games. 17. 5-time sectional champions. This is their 9th appearance in this game. They won it in 2010 in Group 2, their first title. They beat Matawan 13-7. Since then, back-to-back championships in Group 2 in 13-14, and in this conference in 15-16. A run, and Lucas is smothered in the backfield. Hamza Akel, multi-year starter at the end. A tackle for a loss and a third down. Akel, one of the leaders up front on this team. Second team All-Mountain defense last year. This season, all-conference performer. Third and long from the 37. Harvey drops back to pass, steps into a throw, muscles it across the middle. It is a catch right at the right seams. And still fighting for the pigskin. Martino with the catch. And a first down. Rumson-Fair Haven having to play in that Thanksgiving game against Shore. Still came away with a victory there. Of course, the Thanksgiving game maybe to some have lost that luster. Even more so with the so much time in between. You're worrying about a state championship game. So some of those guys did sit. But the week prior to that, and that Friday the 17th, a 28-13 win in the semifinals over Wall. Lucas had 157 and 3 touchdowns. Arby had a 73-yard passing day and a TD to O'Connor. That tied the game in 14 unanswered in the first quarter. That was after they trailed, and then 14 unanswered after being tied 14-14. You can already tell the physicality in this game in just the first quarter, and there's under 2 minutes remaining. It has been happening on both sides, every block upfield. Keep an eye on that as you continue to watch this championship unfold. The fourth of 4 today. And each one has been getting better than the next. 2nd and 7 from the 43 of Somerville. Lucas in the backfield to John. Hey, Pigeon 6'4", 260. Good run defender at nose tackle. And he's the guy who got the start today over Noah Irwin, who was their other nose tackle, more of the pass rusher. Good to have some depth, as both of these teams do. And you look at Rumson-Fair Haven on that far sideline. It is lined up from about the 35 to the 35. 3rd and 8 from the 44. 45 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Play action. Harvey, time to throw. Now pocket collapses. Rolls out right at midfield. Bounces into his offensive lineman. Keeps moving the legs past the 40. To the 38-yard line. And it will make it a 4th and manageable if they elect to go. 4th and 1. And they will look to go. But they will do so in the second. 12 minutes in the books. Somerville, great couple of opening drives. An 8-0 lead as other QB Jalan Dabney rushes home the score. 2-point conversion was good. We'll be right back on News 12 Varsity. Second quarter, 8-0 lead for Somerville. 89 yards of offense compared to Rumson's 39. That was through 12 minutes. It's a 4th and 1 from the 37 of Somerville. Play action for Harvey. He drops it off. O'Connor reels it in at the 30. He's got the first down and all the way to the 22. Oh, great call on that play action. And O'Connor is such a sure-handed player. His second grab today. And timeout for the Bill. 23 seconds into the second quarter. Rumson-Fair Haven will have the ball on Somerville's 22-yard line. Dan Savarino here with you. Thanks so much for joining us from High Point Solutions Stadium. Josh Noble, our producer, doing great work as always as we close out this football season. And what a season it has been. What a day it has been to pretty much cap off 2017 here. Rumson-Fair Haven and Somerville. If you thought about it 2 years ago, even a year ago maybe, you would probably shake your head and go, okay, Rumson-Fair Haven's in the finals again. But Somerville? Yes, that is true. A team that last year lost in the semifinals to Rahway 47-21 after their 4th ever undefeated season. They were a high-octane offense, 50 points per game. This season, about 41 per contest. Defensively got a little bit better as well. And then 2 years ago, after a 2-8 season, they had a 25-game losing streak which ended. Rumson-Fair Haven has been kind of the staple of Central Group 3. 4 consecutive championships. Here they'll take a 1st and 10 from the 22. Lucas with the carry. Goes outside the tackles and is knocked down at the 21. Peter Lucas, they knew he was going to be just as good as he has been all season. Coming into today with 2,110 yards of rushing. Probably would have started for a lot of teams the last 2 years, but playing behind some very good backs. Play action, Harvey! Smothered in the backfield, Ciampola. Ciampola with a great start to this first half. So a 3rd down and 17. They are 1 of 3 back in that first. So many options out there at receiver. Even though the team, we always say it's a ground-heavy group, they have slung the ball around and feel comfortable doing so. They'll call a timeout and use their first timeout of the half. We've played less than 2 minutes in the second quarter. It'll be a third down and long upcoming for Rumson-Fair Haven. They trail Somerville 8-0. Now the Bulldogs, coach who's been there for some time, D coordinator since 2006. Jerry Schulte, 4 titles. That time, 3 consecutive years after being a head coach at Wall for 10 seasons. In modern day, prior to that, also an offensive coordinator at Monmouth Regional, and took over as the team's head coach 2 years ago, and has just continued this winning tradition. There's a lot of discipline. They don't really talk about last year or anything like that. Returning to the finals, of course, maybe it has their inner confidence, but it's nothing that is really spoken about in the locker room or during practices. They've already played a game here. Their lone loss against St. John Vianney back on October the 14th. Third down and 17. Lucas on the screen. He is well in the backfield. Fourth and long. And every time it seems like Lucas has the pigskin, there are 3 white jerseys around him. This will bring out a punt. And it's just inside at the 2 or 3 yard line. I'll give it access at the 3. Great punt. Bill Somerville with their deepest field position today from their own 3. First drive, we saw Kovac. Second drive, we saw Dabney. We will see Dabney again with his back to the end zone, standing on that red. Runs right into the pile up the middle, and on that pursuit was Keegan Woods with 143 tackles from the linebacker position, and lone returning starter at the linebacker group. 16 tackles in the semifinals, another 10 and a pick in their Thanksgiving win. So gives 2 yards of breathing room. Dabney, play action. Here's McDuffie. Works up the near seams. Twist around. He's still on his feet. Past the 20-yard line. Never fell with that knee. Duke McDuffie. Only his, believe it or not, second reception in now the last 5 games for a guy who's reeled in 26 on the end arounds. This is Hinton. Hinton to the 23 for a second down and 8. Offensively, this group has been averaging .390 per contest. Dabney will give the ball off. Fiorentino is up to the 26 for a third down. But it's a very interesting offense, which, of course, you can highlight more and more. There's a lot of connections here to Rutgers, actually. This group has been more run-heavy, close to 230 yards on the ground, 160 in the air. And they're coming off a game where they were very run-heavy, 282 of the 350. 3rd and 5. They'll throw. Looking for Hinton. And it was incomplete. 4th down and 5, and this should end up bringing on Wortman to punt. It's been averaging, it's about 27 yards per boot. And a fresh unit of 11 will come onto the field. Runs in, good kick. Booms all the way to the 35. Crowley is up to the 42.
Rumson-Fair Haven takes over at their own 49-yard line.
From their own 49, trailing 8-0. We played 3.5 minutes of football. Throwing near side, incomplete. Simpola has really been everywhere today. In more ways than one, offensively, defensively, and that's where he really stands out on the defensive side of the football. So from midfield, Harvey works from the pistol. Lucas hitting the seams hard. Works up to the 44. Now this offense, we said it, just so run heavy, but this 2017 group, of course, when you graduate so many pieces from a year prior, it's a big turnover. You just have to tweak and adapt it. And that's exactly what they have done. Guys taking on bigger roles like a Peter Lucas or many of these offensive line players. Basically the same system for the last 15 years. 3rd down and 3. Play action. Harvey across the middle, trying to find O'Connor up the right seams.
4th and 5 at 44.
So 1 for 5 on 3rd down so far in this game. And the Bulldogs, just like that, will punt again.
Prior to punt, WD.
McDuffie is back to receive. Has 1 punt return TD this season. We'll call for a fair catch. Nearly spills it at the 19, and that's where Somerville will take over. 6:31 to play here in the half. 8-0 lead. And Dabney has run the last 2 series at QB. He will come out for a 3rd. Fiorentino rolls out to the slot. Man in motion is McDuffie. That's who has the football. But he's not going very far. Great pursuit on the ball by Joe Eflita. 55 tackles on the season. In this offense, Dallas Whitaker is the offensive coordinator. Here at Rutgers, Delaware Valley Regional High School, the walk-on in the D-line. As it's floated out to the far side, Fiorentino will be smothered in the backfield. Again, this offense is a very interesting one. Whitaker, when he was making his debut as a student assistant coach, Fresno State,
3rd down and 7.
had that up-tempo style, put 52 on Rutgers here. And then SMU, Houston, very similar kind of things. And he fell in love with that kind of offense. And from there, he was running the defense and working with the D. That offense is what he loved the most. As Fiorentino will make this a 4th down and 4 on a 3rd down grab. Over the 26, another punt will come. But he is one of the many guys who have a connection through Rutgers. Savon Huggins, and 4 members of this coaching staff in total. As Crowley picks it up from the 35-yard line and dragged out of bounds on the far side. No flag on the play, though the Bulldogs wanted one. He is one of 4 Rutgers guys on this coaching staff for Jeff Vanderbeek. And the offense last year, again, averaging 50 points per game. This season, another 41 per contest. They put up 51 against Ewing in the quarterfinals. 33 against Monmouth in the most recent ones. 1st and 10 from their own 45 for Rumson-Fair Haven. A run up the gut. Lucas across the Scarlet Knight logo to the 48. Both teams going 3-and-out punts on their last few series. Moving that pile ahead. A 1st down. Lucas so strong at 5'9", 160. Something you always talk about with multi-sport athletes, and especially when covering this tri-state, some of the Long Island football players who are more lacrosse guys and play football during the fall. They have those things called lax hips. Great open field runners. Well, that is Peter Lucas. Doesn't mind bouncing off of tackles. Lucas again. Cuts left, up the left seams. And another decent carry to the 37-yard line. Again, with that fast-paced offense, though, of Somerville, best way of keeping them off the field are these methodical runs of 5-4 yards at a time. Again, no coach is ever going to complain about 5 yards at a time, especially when you're controlling the clock. McAfee motions right. Lucas cuts outside of the tackles, lunges forward, but Williams is on the tackle, the junior. 3rd down. 2:40 and change remaining here in the half. After such a high intensity and honestly just the emotion from the overtime win by Long Branch, many of these fans had a chance to see. They already let into the building. There's a flag on this play. Many of the fans were here and able to watch that, so they saw the excitement, and they were ready for their group to come out. Somerville has the football to start the contest, drive all the way down inside the 10 to the 10. They turn it over on downs, and then eventually score on their next possession. There was a big buzz in this building right off the bat. Since then, it's kind of slowed down with these punts. More punts, more punts, more punts. Encroachment will give an automatic first down to Rumson-Fair Haven. First time in a while that they've had a first. 2:10 to play. The carry to Malgin. Runs outside the numbers to the 15. While Lucas has been the lead back with 2,000 plus yards, Malgin has chipped in very nicely with more than 550. Last year, coming off the bench in some roles, scored 4 touchdowns, another 9 on the ground this season, 2 receiving. Martino motions left, working from the left hash marks. Malgin up to the 10. Under 2 minutes to play. And again, Rumson-Fair Haven is getting the football to start the second half. Somerville is going to call a timeout. They're down to one final timeout, $1:49 remaining here at High Point Solutions Stadium. Rumson-Fair Haven knocking on the door for their first score today. 2nd and 5 from the 10. Here in the second quarter, 1 minute and 49 seconds remain. Harvey, play action, rolls right, throws on the run. Incomplete, intended for McAfee, who had his first touchdown of the year just a week and a couple days ago on Thanksgiving Eve. So 3rd down and 5 for Rumson-Fair Haven. They'll walk up to the line of scrimmage. From the gun is Arby. The handoff. Malgin has the 5, and that's where the first down marker is. So a 1st and goal with 99 seconds to go and counting down here in the half. Somerville is going to call a timeout, their final one. So recognizing this as important points to try and keep off the board. With 93 seconds remaining, they'll burn their final timeout of the half. And Somerville with the timeout. Only loss came in homecoming. It was against Rahway 27-6. And talking to Coach Vanderbeek about this loss, he said even the coaches can continue to tell them this. You believe there's times that you can win a game. And some kids sometimes and players, they think they can just throw their helmets on and run on the field and not prepare as well. So, well, guess what? Well, 14 straight regular season wins up to that point. They beat Rahway a couple of times, and it was just mental mistakes after mental mistakes. And that was a good lesson for them. Of course, they don't like losing, really aren't good losses, but if there's one that helped them, it was that point. They got back to work and focused again. Here they'll have to defend a 1st and goal from the 4. Harvey works under center. The handoff. Malgin drives forward. It's short. Malgin didn't even have a carry in the last couple of games. sitting out a little bit there. And the quarterfinals, 3 for 29 and 2 TDs. Harry's been the featured back on this drive. Under a minute to play in the half. 2nd and goal from the 2. Malgin pinballs off of his offensive line and into the end zone. RFH on the board. Tenth rushing touchdown of the season for Alex Malgin, the junior. And now Rumson-Fair Haven will want to discuss whether or not to tie or attempt to tie the score with a 2-point conversion or just kick the PAT. 55 seconds remain here in the half of the Central Group 3 title game. From High Point Solutions Stadium, I'm Dan Savarino. Thanks so much for joining us all day long, all season long. So they'll gallop on out there, and it looks like a 2-point conversion is upcoming. So a chance to tie the score. Harvey out of the gun. Malgin at the right hip. 2 receivers on the right, 1 to the left. McKeffey motions right. Harvey rolls out. Here comes the pressure. Steps up, throws. O'Connor, he's in. Tie game, 8-8. Under a minute to play in the half. Boy, Steve Pollock could have taken Harvey down for a loss. And was kicking himself afterwards, just couldn't wrap him up in time. Came in the barrel out of a cannon. But it's 8-8. And the Bulldogs will start with the pigskin for the second half. Somerville is out of timeouts. So the one good thing I guess you can say here is those timeouts before conserve some time on the clock to potentially make a run here. I guess that's what they had in mind. In a high-paced offense, they can feel comfortable in that spot.
5 to Dumpy, 6 Burnside.
Coles will boot from left to right. Picked up from the 28. Zempola to the 35. And driven backwards.
Justin Poland takes the kick down to the 35-yard line. Crowley on the tackle.
So 49 seconds to go. Dabney will work out of the gun at QB. From their own 35. Empty backfields. Fiorentino motions right, 3 on the right side. Dabney up the gut. Eludes 2, eludes 3, to midfield. Tackled by Ninja. Exactly at the 50. A first down for this fast-paced offense. Dabney, 2-step drop, drops it off in the flats. That's a face mask as Timpola got up to the 40, and no question, 3 flags came flying. And the ooze from the fans here at the Ville. So look at that. 2 plays, and then the 15 yards you'll get from the face mask. And now you are in striking distance with a half minute to go. So those timeouts before playing dividends and giving this team a chance to even put points on the board late. They want the lead going into halftime. Dabney, empty backfield again from the 28-yard line. Floats it towards the end zone, incomplete. Sloan was covering McDuffie. Oh, check that, excuse me. Deshaun Smith down the near sideline. Smith works outside, 5 wide again. 2nd and 10, 27 seconds remaining in the half in an 8-8 contest. Dabney looks left. He hits McDuffie. So elusive as he cuts back across the 20-yard line. The shifty junior up to the 22, and that will also stop the clock on a first down. So now in the red zone for the second time today, 1 of 2. Dabney rolls right, throws, nearly pulled in by Simpola, and a flag late. This could be going against Somerville. Said it before on many of these blocks upfields. This was becoming a very physical game. Let's get the call. Personal foul against the Pioneers. So the 15 they gain on the face mask will bounce them back to the 33. And the Somerville fans are not liking this, while the Bulldog Nation is politely clapping like a tennis match. That's what happens when you have the big scoreboard up. Oh, it's a great field over at Somerville. So, 2nd and 25 from the 33. Dabney, he's got a man, far side, and overshoots him. Intended for McDuffie. 6 seconds remaining. It is 3rd down. So really one final chance to get to the end zone. They get the signs from the sideline. Looking left. Dabney rolls out right. Has room. Throws on the run, end zone, incomplete. Simpola was the intended target, and that is the end of the first half. So Somerville got on the board first. Dabney's 2-yard rushing TD. 2-point conversion was successful, followed up by Rumson-Fair Haven. A long, lengthy drive and a 2-pointer of their own. It's 8-8 as we hit halftime. Stay tuned. We'll be back. The 3rd quarter, the Central Group 3 championship game only on News 12 Varsity. Just 24 minutes of football remaining in the 2017 season. It's the Central Group 3 Championship game here from High Point Solutions Stadium on News 12 Varsity. Dan Savarino with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Josh Noble, our producer, on this Saturday evening here from Rutgers University. 8-8. Somerville got on the board first. It was Dabney's touchdown from a yard out, followed up by Rumson-Fair Haven with the equalizer. Malgin from just about 2 yards out, and the two-point conversion was also good. Somerville is going to kick from right to left to begin this half. White uniforms, tops and bottoms, with the black numbers and the orange trim. And from left to right, it is Rumson-Fair Haven, four-time defending champions in their respective conference, and two-time defending champs in this conference alone, Central Group 3. There was a chance late for Somerville to put some points on the board, but a penalty and a couple opportunities that went by the wayside kept this at a tie score. Now kicking off from right to left, Bobby Wortman, number 16, the junior. Fresh 12 on the clock, pigskin on the pylon. We're underway here in half number 2. McHeffy changing directions to the middle of the field to the 29-yard line. Rumson-Fair Haven expect a very long, lengthy drive or attempt at one. You're not going to see them try and sling the ball out on the first play or have a high-tempo offense. They want to keep this offense from the Ville of 40-plus points per game on their sideline as much as they can. And they did a really good job of doing so in the second quarter. Pistol formation, ball's in the 29. Peter Lucas runs right behind his guards and into the big body on the outside.
Charlie Burkhardt, number 70, stops him. Ball put out to the 32-yard line. 8-3.
Charlie Burkhardt on the tackle. Three-yard pickup. O'Connor motions right, slides in at tight end. Lucas, he's got open room outside the numbers. Tiptoes past the 40-yard line and up to the 43. That's a 2,000-yard rusher right there, who in his career, 34 career touchdowns. Also, by the way, on the lacrosse field in 2017, this past spring, had another 10 goals, 5 assists. In the playoffs, 6 total TDs, just under 300 yards. Didn't play in that Thanksgiving game, trying to heal a bruised body, and he probably would have played if it was the state sectional game. Almost no question. As Lucas goes behind his right guard this time. It is tackled after a 2-yard pickup.
Ball spotted just across the 45-yard line.
Rumson-Fair Haven so good at this kind of game. And the issue they had this season, again, this is such a good defensive team. You cannot say that enough. For a team that has given up just 30 points or more once in 43 games, in 47 games they last gave up more than 40 points. You have to be some sound defensive-minded team with the amount of turnover that goes in and year out, as Martino reels in the grab at the 49. But that loss against St. John Vianney, which was played here. Talking to Coach Schulte about this, and he said, listen, we lost by 3 points in overtime. Just one play better than us. That's all it really was. Played a good game. Both teams did a really good job. Just one more play, and you look at the film, It's one of those games that neither team should have lost in that contest. Though it was a loss and the only loss this season. A 10-1 record coming into today. As Harvey on third down and 2 gets the first down to the 46.
On the initial hit. But that's a Rumson-Fair Haven first down.
So Rumson-Fair Haven, 2 first downs on this drive that began on their own 29. Just taking time off of the clock. Last year a 27-22 win against South Plainfield. In this same championship game at 7 o'clock, same time slot. Malden was a member of that team a year ago, and he grabs 6 feet on the carry. Now, this is far from something that Somerville is not used to. 6 games this season of the first 11. They have either been tied or losing in the second half. Other than Rahway, they came back and won. So, they feel comfortable in this spot, despite the fact of a tie ball game. As Harvey pulls it himself to the 37. Napola, another tackle.
That's a 9-yard gain. It'll be second and 1.
Harvey, not your traditional dual threat quarterback. Only 15 carries for 103 yards entering today.
Correction, third and 1.
Either he's managing the game and giving the ball out to someone else, or he's going to throw it like he has more than 114 times this year. Third down and 1. Lucas, move those sticks. So back-to-back third down conversions. 3 first downs on this drive. And just like that, they have almost nearly flipped the field to the 34. The two met last year in the semifinals. Rumson-Fair Haven trailing by 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and then 4 turnovers by the Ville. Shut out that high-scoring team in the third quarter. 7 straight possessions, containing a group that was scoring 50 a game last year. That has essentially happened already again. It's basically deja vu, only at the big college stadium. It'll be a holding penalty, and this will back up Rumson-Fair Haven. And they are doing it in the most football-like way. They've also silenced this very loud and proud group from Somerville. This is by far, I think, the largest crowd we have seen of any team today. And there have been some very good crowds that have spread themselves out on both sides of the field. But this, I believe, is the largest crowd that we have seen for one particular town. Very proud football tradition that just hasn't been there in some time. The handoff to Lucas. He's in the backfield on this first and long. And he's tackled at the 40. Herbinski along with Smith were the two to make that tackle. Second down and 16. And you couldn't have two more contrasting styles with these two groups. You can always find a lot of similarities between teams when they reach this point of the season, and we have seen that in almost every game prior, but this is one where it's a contrasting style for sure. One likes the fast-paced, the other one slow, keep pounding it, and playing good defense. So Lucas will now have a 3rd and 13 upcoming after a 3-yard carry. And we've already played half of this third quarter.
Which makes it 3rd and about 13.
They've converted their last 2 third downs, and now the Pioneer faithful start to get loud. Haven't had much to cheer about in a little while. 3rd and 13 from the 37. Play action. Harvey throws, across the middle, batted away. Kyrie Hinton, I believe, was the one who got his hand on that ball. Deshaun Smith was also in that area. So punt will come out. Nick Ferreira, a freshman, is doing the punting duties today. His last punt brought them to the 3-yard line. McDuffie is back to return. It's the returnable kick. McDuffie from the 10. Spins out of one tackle, gets the block, but falls down at the 10-yard line. Great coverage by RFH. Jack Chabelle was pursuing, and that's what avoided any big gain. So from their own 10-yard line, now if you look back, besides 2 3-and-outs in the second quarter, 3 of their 5 have been deep into Rumson-Fair Haven territory, as Dabney gets a great run of 19 yards, make it actually 20 yards up to the 30-yard line. Kovacs was the quarterback on the first drive. Since then, we haven't seen him. Dabney has been the go-to and has been over the last few weeks. The junior twists ahead for a 2-yard pickup. This guy has 100 yards rushing in 4 of the last 6 games, 1 for 200 yards. In the semifinals, 4 of 11 passing, a touchdown. 2 TDs on the ground for 131. Had a 200 and 200 day against Scotch Plains. 509 total yards of offense. Harry cuts back towards his left, up the seams, and muscles his way to the 44. Jelon Dabney has had a passing and rushing TD over his last 6 games. He already accomplished 1 today. That was a rushing touchdown, the lone score. McDuffie on the end around, up the near sideline, and just runs in to the wall of Alex Sloan, who was blocking with his receiver, Deshaun Smith. It's just a different feel when Somerville is out there. You feel the energy from the near side of the field. There is a lot of speed. It's fun to watch for the normal fan and for the average fan. But nothing's better than hard-nosed defense just like that. It'll be a 3rd down and short to the 49. It's a very special defense from Rumson-Fair Haven. One of the best programs defensively in the entire state, no question. 3rd down and 3 from the 49. 1 of 4 on 3rd downs in that first half. It's a reverse. McDuffie up the seam. First down. First time we saw that kind of play today. Well executed. McDuffie, one of those guys who can kind of do it all for you. 51 carries, 8 touchdowns, 26 receptions, 2 TDs. Dabney up the middle of the field, and he hits the turf at the 38. Ninger's second tackle on this drive.
Both at the 38-yard line, gain 6, second and 4.
Second down and 4. They'll go empty backfield. Fiorentino slots outside. Dabney throws quick. He's got a man. It's Hinton. Touchdown! 38 yards. Kyrie Hinton. The lead is back for the Bill. Speed kills. And that is what Kyrie Hinton has. Lots of it. A catch now in 6 straight for his second touchdown reception of the season. 2-pointer on its way. Converted on their last one. Here they'll float it. Ciampola bounces around in the end zone. Rumson-Fair Haven has the ball. So a fake play. It'll be a 14-8 lead. .236 remaining here in the third quarter. A 90-yard drive with 3 first downs for the Pioneers. They march their way up the field through the run game, through the air, and using their speed to the best of their ability. Jeff Vanderbeek talking to him about this. He even said it. I played in the first state championship games over in Atlantic City back in the day. For him just to be able to play in something like that, continue to see his friends from those teams, and that was 40 years ago. It's just a tremendous experience for his players, something they know that they will remember for the rest of their lifetime. The toughest part for them this season, as fast-paced as this offense was getting tougher on both sides. They were able to do so. They changed the culture, and they got tougher on both sides of the pigskin. If you want to compete with the likes of the Bulldogs, you have to somewhat match their style. Somerville with their second lead today. 2:36 remaining in this third frame. It'll be returned from the 24-yard line. McAfee into that pile to the 33.
John McAfee grabbed the kick.
So after eating up basically half of this quarter, it takes almost half that time for Somerville to go 90 yards. Now that defense a little more fired up, and you can even tell by just their attitude on the field. They have been playing basically on their heels for a long time. They want to be on the sideline right now. And for the offensive guys and two-way players, they want to be on the other side of the pigskin. Harvey from the gun. Lucas. A 2-yard gain. Herbinski on the tackle, a second team performer a year ago. Leading his group actually in tackles at the linebacker position. Defensively, they have actually given up more points in this month than any other throughout the course of the season. Again, a lot of that has to do with the schedule. It has to do with tougher opponents in the playoffs. But they have been forcing turnovers. Something they have not done tonight was force a turnover. Neither team has. Ciampola had that last tackle for a loss. only a junior is Joe Simpola. 32 in white. 3rd down and 8. From the 35. Slings it across the middle. Reeled in by O'Connor. He's got the speed up the left seams, and that will move the chains.
Stopped by 11 Williams. That's a first down for the Bulldogs.
It's something Rumson-Fair Haven is so good at doing. Once the other team has a little bit of feel, a little bit more confidence, they'll just burn you with one play for a bigger gain and then get back to their bread and butter. Has to be some sense of confidence for many of these boys, reigning champions. Some of them already playing in this kind of atmosphere before. Lucas being one of them. Nice pursuit by Tyser Williams. Also Noah Irwin at nose tackle, the sophomore. Second and 9. 7 seconds remaining in the quarter. We'll see if they run a play. There's 2 seconds, there's 1. They will not. 12 minutes of football remaining. Somerville takes the lead on a Hinton touchdown reception. It's 14-8 as we head to the 4th. The Central Group 3 Championship. It's only on News 12 Varsity. Welcome back to News 12 Varsity. Dan Savarino with you. Thanks so much for joining us all day long. 12 minutes on the clock. It's 2nd and 9 from the 48 from right to left. Rumson-Fair Haven. They will stack 3 on the right. Harvey floats it far side. Incomplete. Martino, the intended receiver. You take a look at some of the stats through 3 quarters of action. 241 total yards of offense on 36 plays for the Pioneers. 88 rushing yards, 153 passing. For Rumson, 100 yards rushing, 161 total. Harvey, 7 of 12 now for 61. Lucas has 56 yards on 20 carries. Here on 3rd down, where they are 5 of 10 today. Harvey drops back, way back, throws on the run, incomplete, intended for O'Connor. It'll be a 4th and 9 and most likely a punt. Nick Ferreira out to punt again. He's been pretty good, to say the least. 4 punts, 27.5-yard average, and 3 inside of the 20. McDuffie back to receive. Only has returned 2 for just 4 total yards. This is returnable from the 20-yard line. Here comes McDuffie. The middle of the field. Stutter step as he works to the outside. Past the 30. Stiff arms past the 35. And tackled right there at that 35. Dabney and his offense will come on out. The junior through 3 quarters. And for the 7th straight game has had a touchdown pass and a rushing score.
First down to the 35.
From their own 35, empty backfields. 8 of 13 in the contest. 99 yards passing. Flag on the play as Fiorentino darts up the far sideline. So probably be coming back. 8 of 13 passing, 9 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown. They jumped out to an 8-0 lead. Fiorentino had that 2-point conversion after the Dabney run. And then late, with 55 seconds left in the half, it was tied up at 8. Malgin's 2-yard run, O'Connor's 2-point conversion reception from Harvey. Hinton, a 38-yard touchdown grab on a 90-yard drive with 2:36 to go in the 3rd quarter. That's the lead, and that's where we are here in the 4th. Just a half minute in. Dabney lowers the shoulder, runs into a pile, and pushed backwards by Gavin Pomfrey, the senior who's coming off his season best 10 tackles during the Turkey Day battle. Jeff Vanderbeek said it. Rumson-Fair Haven, they are such a well-oiled machine, as good as any team. Here's a reverse. McDuffie throws. Caught by Dabney. The trick play works up to the 40.
McDuffie actually threw the ball. Ball's placed at the 40-yard line. 3rd and 5.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 5. They were 2 of 6 in the first 3 quarters. Empty backfield. 4 on the far side as they diamond. 1 on the near. It's Hillman. They'll throw far side instead. Fiorentino with the grab, but nowhere to go. Alex Sloan reading that play like a book. 4th down and 5. And they will punt with Bobby Wortman.
Wortman to punt.
3rd punt today, and the 3rd time it is a 3 and out. Wortman skies a kick. It'll go over Crowley and just sit with some backspin at the 27. That almost looked like a pitching wedge. It just sat right there next to the hole. So get your divot tools out. Rumson-Fair Haven is starting from their own 27-yard line, trailing by just 7 points with 9:33 to play in the contest. 17 consecutive playoff victories for this group. 4 consecutive sectional titles. Only 2 other Shore teams have won 4 titles in 4 years. Manasquan and Middletown South from 03 to 06. As Harvey throws as he gets hit incomplete. Great pressure from the linebackers. Herbinski was swarming to the backfield. What a win today by Rumson-Fair Haven. would be 5 straight sectional titles, and the only other Shore team to do so would tie Manasquan's 5 consecutive from 98 to 02. A little Shore stat for you. 2nd and 10 from the 27. This run will bring it to the 39. Peter Lucas. The first 3 quarters, Lucas 56 yards rushing, 20 carries, just averaging 2.8 per carry for a guy who this season has been averaging almost 11 yards per touch and 211 yards per game. Big 3rd down upcoming. Four of 11. And they get loud on the near sideline. Harvey looks to throw. Cross the near side, incomplete. Martino was the intended target. Marcus Burnside, the junior. A punt. Fifth time they are punting. Check that, 6th time they are punting. The 5th, 3 and out. McDuffie returns from the 30. Runs into a pile, escapes one, not a second. As there's nothing but purple jerseys on top of him. Well, now that you are up in this game, it is the 4th quarter. You kind of wonder, do you change your offensive style at all? They love such a fast tempo. But time off the clock would be just as important as another 6 points. Of course, 6 is number 1 on that list, as Dabney looks to cut inside of his tackles to the 40-yard line. This offense is young, only 3 seniors. Those 3 being Kovacs and some guys on the offensive line. Center Booker and DeSarno at left guard. Other than that, nothing but juniors or younger. You know, they need to limit their mistakes. They haven't made many of them. As they'll fake the reverse, Fiorentino for a loss, though. Lanzalato with 90 tackles coming into today, the junior at linebacker. Forces a 3rd and 11. From the 38, 3rd down and 11. Dabney, time to throw. Fires across the middle and just about 2 yards too long for Duke McDuffie. Another 3 and out punt. 4th time today for them. This game is just going to come down to one play. You have that feeling. A little different than our shootout last contest. We saw plenty of offense. This will be returned. Crowley from the 30-yard line picks up 7 yards and is tugged backwards. They'll give him the 36.
64 Mike DeSarno brings him down. Bulldogs take over at their own 36.
Seven minutes to play in regulation. First and 10, near hash marks. Lucas, he gets the call. Stiff arm, Burnside outside, and will run into his bench. Well, Peter Lucas was looking to say about a senior. And as we say, of course, it's a well-oiled machine, and that's what it is. You just plug in almost a new guy, a new name, and this team is still where they are. And that isn't by accident by any means. That is dedication. When you grow up, whether you're on JV, varsity on the bench, or even when you're in middle school, you see this team winning championships. There are kids in the stands at this moment that want to do exactly what these teams from Rumson-Fair Haven have been doing for a number of years. Get you determined to get to that point. Justin Johnson, the offensive lineman, is down and going to have to be attended to by the medical staff. 6:38 to play here in the fourth. 14-8. Somerville leaves Rumson-Fair Haven on News 12 Varsity.
Justin Johnson.
Third down and 6. Four of 12 on third downs. Play action. Harvey rolls right, uses the legs, and falls right into a defender. It'll be a fourth down and short. Noah Irwin was over there. And now with fourth down and 2, they are going to keep the offense on the field. He'll bring the big boys up front. And everybody is on their feet on both sides. Fourth and 1 from the 45. Harvey works in the gun for RFH. Prolenza motions right. Malgin, he's got the first. Malgin just ran outside. Everyone thought the run was coming in. So quick to get outside of those numbers, past the 50, and continue to move this clock in those chains. Two for 2 on fourth down attempts. They'll run it on first. And Malgin picks up a foot. I'll actually give him a full 3 feet. A little shorter than that, but hit that pile really hard. The big bodies like Jake Pigeon, 6'4", 260. Swallowing him right in the middle of the field. Under 5 minutes to play, and again, by missing the 2-point conversion and by Rumson-Fair Haven scoring the 2-pointer before, all you needed to do is kick a PAT and you have the lead if you do score. Looking for O'Connor, incomplete. He was cutting in, and he threw it to the right shoulder instead of the left. This defense for Somerville, and seeing it in person, it's like a revolving door. 2, 3 fresh faces at a time, depending on personnel. 3rd and 9. They have failed on their last 3. The chant is defense, defense. 4:22 to go. From the Pioneer 47. chest high snap. Harvey to the near side, incomplete. Was looking for Mulgin. 4th down and 9. And they'll talk it over. Timeout, Rumson-Fair Haven. And listen to this ovation by the Pioneer faithful. 4:18 to play. Down to 2 timeouts for Rumson-Fair Haven, all 3 for Somerville at the moment. Perfect 2 of 2 on 4th down, so went a little bit longer. And again, trailing in the game. Of course, the question, do you want to boot it away, help your field position, and hope that the big game players that are the Pioneers won't burn you? Trust your defense, use your timeouts there. Or do you go for it, give them even better field position, and still hope to kind of do the same, but take your gamble? Well, based on the personnel, they're going for it. They just converted a 4th down on this drive. They're on their feet at Rutgers. 4th and 9 from the 47. Harvey steps, throws, it's caught by Martino at the 35-yard line. A perfect 3 of 3 on 4th downs. And Martino has been a prime target today. 3rd catch. So the timeout paid off, and now we're under 4 minutes. From the 33. Empty backfield now. O'Connor up the right seams, and a shoestring tackle. To the 21-yard line. Some people feel experience in these situations and experience in championships, it doesn't really matter. But the times it probably comes up the most are in big playoff games. This team has that experience. 1st and 10 from the 21. 3.5 minutes and counting. Harvey picks it up off the carpet, pump fakes, runs down the far sideline. And a fumble turns into pretty much a 7-yard gain. So dangerous. Cool, calm, and collected. Dan Harvey. Not faster than people think. Exact words from Jerry Schulte. 2nd and 3 from the 14. Lucas past the 5. Touchdown! Tie game. From 14 yards. So the PAT would extend this lead. Quinn Doherty, 9 of 9 on PATs. Number 45 bangs it off the left post. We have a tie game. Oh, it went in. Excuse me. It did go in. It actually went in. When it fell off that post, it fell behind. 15-14. Perfect 10 of 10 on the season for Darty. And the lead for Rumson-Fair Haven. Looking at this replay one more time. My goodness, the way it fell down, it looked like it was falling straight, but it actually helicoptered inside of the right bar. Boy, you cannot make that up. As lucky of a bounce as you can get. Great English on the ball. And the football gods are with the Bulldogs. So 3 minutes and 13 seconds to go. 15-14 lead for the two-time defending Central Group 3 champions. This will be returned from the 20-yard line. This is Burnside as he runs up to the 34-yard line. 3:08 to play and 3 timeouts. This is far from over. But Rumson-Fair Haven has their first lead of the game. Dabney from the gun. Empty backfield 5 wide. McDuffie will carry the football. Stutters, drives forward. He's tackled by Pomfrey. So again, plenty of time remaining, and with the timeouts, this is more than enough for this explosive offense. However, Rumson-Fair Haven, defense that has been so good for years upon years. This is where they make their money. This is where they win their championships. Incomplete. Dabney was looking for Fiorentino. And just like that, it's 3rd down and 7. Two of 7 on 3rd down attempts. .2:33 to play from the 37. Dabney shuffles it. It's caught up the sideline. Fiorentino first down. Oh my goodness. We have seen everything on this Saturday. To midfield. 2:33 to go. Dabney to Fiorentino. He rushes outside. Not gobbled up yet. Keeps churning the legs. It's like a rugby match at midfield. And the referee will blow it dead. Afflito was on the tackle on the right side. Under 2 minutes to go, exactly at midfield. Two receivers on the left, 3 on the right. Dabney empty backfield. Looks left, now steps back. Fires a throw down the far sideline. Incomplete. Deshaun Smith. He's been their burner. And they've been looking to use his speed. And that time, they had him in double coverage, and he still burnt them. Throw just off the money. Third down and 10. From midfield. 4 down territory. Looks left, looks right. Moves to the near side of the field. Throws on the run. See him pull it. It's caught at the 30. Past the 20, past the 15. Taken down at the 5. See him Rampolla started this game with a huge reception. And now with 93 seconds to go, Somerville is knocking on the door for the lead. Perfect spiral right across the middle. Beautifully finessed. First and goal from the 5. Dabney straight ahead. Grabs 2. They're looking to the bench for another blocker. Hamza Akel, who works on the defensive side. This will be a delay of game. Or is it too many men? I think it's too many men. There's 12 on the field. So there won't be a penalty, it'll just be a timeout. So instead of losing yards, they lose the timeout. But it really doesn't matter at this point because all they want to do is get this score. To think about how this game has gone. Somerville, a team playing in their first finals since 2000. Haven't won a championship in 23 years. They led 8-0. They tied the score. They took the lead back in the 3rd. And then Rumson-Fair Haven took the lead on a Lucas touchdown and a PAT that hit off the left upright and still trickled home. A miraculous 3rd down by Fiorentino. And Dabney pushed it ahead to him. Here comes Jalon Dabney. Working out of the gun. 2nd and goal from the 3. Trailing by 1. Straight ahead. He's in. The lead is back for Somerville. With under a minute to play. Second rushing TD today. And with that kind of speed and that kind of strength, holding the football close to his chest, he crossed the plane. 2-point conversion to make it a 7-point game. They are 1 for 2 on these 2-pointers. To the far side. Nice pursuit as Deshaun Smith was wrapped up at the 1-yard line.
53 seconds remaining. Somerville 20, Rumson-Fair Haven 15.
So, 53 seconds, 2 timeouts remaining for Rumson-Fair Haven. If you just think about what Somerville has done, by the way, and this game is far from over. A team that before Jeff Vanderbeek came on as the head coach, which was very questionable to some. Riding at that time a losing streak of more than 20. 25 consecutive losses. It ended in an overtime win. Their first win since 2012, and it was years later. In his first full year as the sole head coach, they reached the semifinals and lost to Rumson-Fair Haven. In his second year, with great personnel around him throughout, they are in the sectional championship game for the first time since 2000. With 53 seconds on the clock, Jalon Dabney has scored all 3 touchdowns, 1 in the air, 2 on the ground. And he has given the Ville the lead back by 5. Somerville's going to call their timeout. Got to make sure you don't kick it to the wrong guy in the wrong situation. Again, one final time, I want to mention this before, of course, we go off air. Thank you to everybody who has joined us throughout the season, all the way from August to now here in December. It has been a fun fall season of football. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for all our viewers, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We enjoy watching these games just as much as you do. I can tell you that. Get ready for a photo finish. Wortman, end over end. It's picked up right at the 15. Donovan Brennan, if anything, almost lost yards. 47 seconds. 2 timeouts. From the 21. Dan Harvey, the senior, from the gun. 3-step drop, throws far side. It is complete. Second down and 9. They look far side again. It's pushed away by Deshaun Smith. Intended for O'Connor. "27 seconds remaining. They have not converted a third down attempt in this quarter. All 4 have failed. But 2 fourth down drives on their last possession is what propelled them to a TD. Less than a half minute to go. Harvey. Incomplete. Simpola again. Simpola has been the star on defense. He has come up with 2 big grabs today offensively. And now it comes down to this one play for the Pioneers. 4th down and 9 from the 22. Harvey drops back, looks left, throws across the middle, incomplete! The Ville is bringing home the crowd, and they have knocked off the 2-time defending champions. The Jeff Vanderbeek era, a success. One kneel down is all it will take.
Again, spectators are prohibited from going on the field. Do not risk penalties against your team.
Nothing but strong defensive plays. Somerville's going to call a timeout to get the right personnel on. This group, where they were for a number of years. The Doghouse. The team that people thought would they ever win another football game. And then things just changed. It didn't happen overnight. They knew to have to call themselves a program, not just a team year to year. They knew, Jeff Vanderbeek even said it, to understand that you have to look at our opponents in Rumson-Fair Haven. That is a true program. Semifinals last year, they fell to them. Finals this year. They're your 2017 Central Group 3 champions. There's a new top dog. In this section, it's Somerville. 20-15, the final score. Jalon Dabney, the rushing TD for the go-ahead score. He was involved with all 3 touchdowns. And guess what, folks? This team is still young. Plenty of juniors and sophomores on the roster. The program is back. 8th sectional title in this team's history. The final score after a long, fun day at Rutgers. Somerville, 20, Rumson.